Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself there and having a good time. We're going to be having a great show today. We're going to be talking all about Mafia game on Pulse Chain, the #1 GameFi and #1 metaverse, only metaverse on Pulse Chain, also playing on BNB as well. So we're going to check it all out. We're going to do a number of Mafia game updates. We're going to get straight into it. I've got a very organized list we're going to go through. We're going to get into some of the insights into the game that if you're busy, you may not have picked up. We're also going to be talking about the Directorate, of course, and as you guys know, I'm a part of the family leadership as the consigliere there, who serves as an advisor for the Don of Dons, Archie Capone. So we're going to get into all that, and of course, the Directorate has secured 2 vault positions. So strategic positioning is happening in the game, and the Directorate really does make fear real. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you are new to the game, get into there. We're going to do a quick overview if you want to join the Mafia game on Pulse Chain. And we're also going to talk about the vault size as well. This game is probably going to end up being a multi-million-dollar game with the vault. So very exciting. It's Susan House. Get into the chat, make it lively. That's what it's all about, the community. So get in there, folks. We got Xanon in the house there. Hey, good to see Xanon. We got Delton in his house as well. What's up? Hey, good to see you, Delton. Hope you're doing good. What else we got line there? Xanon likes the little that line, the Coke line in the little promo. Now that was made by Archipelago, the Don of Dons, of course, for the Directorate. Big shout out to him. We're going to be talking a little bit about him later on the live stream. We got Mr. Scotty in the house there. Let's go. Absolutely. So this is a special live stream to cover Mafia game updates and insights, and also talk about the Directorate making some moves in the game. So kind of cool. Let's get into it. We're going to share the Mafia screen for Pulse Chain, or Pulse Mafia as we call it. So let's push that in there. Bam. And here it is. So this is the game at the moment. So we're going to start with a quick overview. This Mafia is pulsemafia.io. You can see it also in the scrolling bar at the bottom there, pulsemafia.io. It only costs 2,000 Mafia to play. So on Pulse Chain, that's probably $2 or something, $1.50. And on BNB, it's probably about 50 cents or something like that, 60 cents. So it's very easy to get on the game. That's what we want people to play, want people to get on there, and it's very easy to do that. Now, obviously, if Mafia price goes up over time on Pulse Chain and BNB, then it gets a little bit more expensive, but it's always, I think, going to be pretty accessible for people to play. So get on there, folks. 2,000 Mafia is nothing to buy. Now, you can go to the More tab, and you can click on Buy Mafia if you want, and click Buy Mafia. It will take you to this page. There is a tax in the system that feeds the vault, the big prize pool that people are after. But you can see the contract here on Pulse Chain, obviously correspondingly also on BNB if you go to the BNB site, which is actually BNB Mafia, BNBmafia.io. And you can also see similar there. If you want to buy Mafia there to start playing the game, you can do that. And there is a buy tax, 4.7%, so you should probably have 5% slippage. There's a sell tax of 16.6%, so you probably would have 20% if you were deciding to sell Mafia at all. But obviously, if you're buying to play, then that's what you do. And you can just click Create a Profile, and you can start playing, right? So you just click that, put in your profile name, put in your gender, and of course, it's good to see Trump and Polyev confirming 2 genders. Pretty cool. Back to biology and normal common sense. And then, of course, create your account. 2,000 Mafia there, 75 cents actually on BNB. You can see the price there. And on Pulse Chain, it is, what's that, $3.63 at the moment for 2,000 Mafia. Easy peasy. And of course, you can buy Mafia there on Pulse Chain or BNB. Now, on Pulse Chain, you can buy it on, like any DEX, like PulseX, 9mm, 9-inch, something like that, maybe. Or I think it's definitely PulseX. You can use a DEX aggregator like Patias, I think. GoPulse is a very good site. I think that works quite well. And so yeah, you can pick up Mafia there. On BNB side, you can pick it up on PancakeSwap. So that's just a kind of cool thing. Just put in your name. You could have a name, anything like Godzilla or something, whatever. And of course, it says duplicated profile name. Someone's already got that, so you might need to change your name and maybe Harrison Ford or something like that. So that's kind of the way you do it. You can select what sort of country you want to be in, and you can select that. So maybe this one's going to be in Belize. check the agenda that you're going to have and create an account. And then, of course, it will debit the 2,000 Mafia that you bought on one of those exchanges. So that's pretty much an overview how to join. Pretty easy. And then once you've got that, you'll have a profile on your right-hand side, and you'll be able to check out that profile, and you'll see all your details, right? So you'll be able to do that. And in this case, it's showing the wrong one. Don't know why it's doing that, but let's quickly refresh this. You'll be able to see a profile, have all your ranks and everything else in there, so you can check that out. Now, that's pretty much how to play. And then, of course, you can go and join a family, right? So there's a whole list of families on Pulse Chain, and you can go and apply to join any one of these. You can just click on any of them. Obviously, for the Directorate, there is an allegiance as well. Some of these families are in allegiances. This one, Yakuza, is part of our Directorate. And you can hit the socials. They won't all have socials, but the socials down here, and you can go to join. In terms of our one, we have a Telegram onboarding for new people, so you can join up today with that. Just click the little blue little link there. That will take you to the Directorate. Join the Directorate, which is our onboarding channel, and you'll meet Max Payne. Max Payne is our Capitacina, the third ranking member of the family and in the leadership team. And of course, his team will onboard you. So it's pretty easy to join a family too. But you can join other families if you want to join. You can do that as well. Or you can just stay playing by yourself and be a lone wolf, and play the game. And of course, the game, to be successful in the game, you really need to play the game more than just having lots of money. For example, lots of crypto money. That's probably the main thing. But being in a family is going to offer you a lot of benefits, protection, sharing of the vault, things like that, if it's got a vault position. Not all families have vault positions. So we're going to talk about that a bit later. So that's a bit of an overview of the game. Now, obviously, there's also a Wikipedia. So if you want to get yourself up to speed and become a genius at this game, click the old Wikipedia there. And it will bring you in to the Wikipedia, and everything about the games in there pretty much. So pretty cool. Another site that you can go to is also Mafia HQ. Mafia HQ, that's been, let me just find that. Let's jump a bit faster there, Mafia HQ. And you can go, this is made by our Don Archipelago, and it gives you a lot of cool insights that are not in the Wikipedia. So you can go check that out as well. It's Mafia-HQ. So I'll post the little links to this in the chat there. If you want to play Pulse Mafia, that's kind of a quick overview. Always get that out of the road. Sometimes people, we talk about Mafia, but then we're not really explaining how do you get on board, how do you play it. So that is a quick overview. How you get on to Pulse Mafia, set up a player, 2,000 Mafia, pretty simple, and then start learning from there pretty much. And this is BNB Mafia if you want over on BNB. So that's how easy it is. 2,000 Mafia on either Pulse Chain or BNB. And of course, you can use, MetaMask, use all sorts of wallets to do that. So pretty cool. Bam, there we go. Pulse Mafia and BNB. All right, so that's kind of the overview. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, I want to talk about the vault. So what's one of the big reasons, not the only reason, but what's one of the big reasons why you would play this game, right? What is that? So there's a vault in this game, right? The vault, we talked about those buy and sell taxes, well, that feeds the vault, right? So the vault gets fed with that. And the vaults are huge. And of course, if Pulse Chain and BNB do a big hyper rally, which what we're expecting in 2025, then this game's quickly going to become a multi-million-dollar prize pool game, right? And that's going to garner a lot of attention. It means that the Mafia families will be fighting over the big prize pools that way. But there are other ways to make money on this game. There's going to be a lot of ways, in fact. So we'll talk a little bit about that later on. The prize pool at the moment, 7.34 billion Pulse. That's like being in the top. I think I did the numbers some time back. It's like being maybe about wallet number. I can't remember the exact number I had, but I think it was like top 200 easy on the sacrifice list for Pulse Chain. So if you're familiar with Pulse Chain sacrifice process, it's like being that top wallet like that. So pretty easy. Now the amount of money that's in there, $365,000 US. Now, if you're in places like Mexico, maybe not Mexico, Mexico's doing pretty well. But if you're in places like New Zealand, our exchange rate is like what they used to make jokes about, the Mexican peso. We've got like the Kiwi peso now. And of course, that means it's a lot more money, and that's well over $500,000, right? So it's probably close to $700,000, something like $650,000, something like that. So it's a lot of money relative to here. Now, obviously, if Pulse Chain does a 3x, this instantly becomes $1 million US game and beyond, right? Pulse Chain does a 10x, you're talking multi-million-dollar game, etc., etc. You guys know know the math. So very, very excited to see that. Now, this is just on Pulse Chain. Obviously, there's a big vault on BNB. So we're going to check that out in a second. But pretty exciting. Now, you can see this guy on the right hand. Here's the tax guy. He takes all the taxes from those buy and sell taxes on Mafia, which you can find on Dex Screener and places like that. And he ends up, it's a public call function, and you can convert that Mafia into Pulse there. Pretty exciting. And of course, that feeds the vault, as well as feeds a few other things like the marketing DAO and stuff like that. So it's pretty exciting. So that is pretty much that with the vault. Let's go to BNB, have a quick look over there, and have a look at that vault too while we're over there. So we're going to have a look at the BNB vault over on BNB. Once again, this is bnbmafia.io. And we can see there's 237.8 BNB over there. The prize pool is 165,000 US dollars. So if you add those two up, we're already at $500,000 on both chains for BNB. So all you need is a 2x in prices, and we're already at $1 million game, right? So pretty exciting. Now, that's not the only way to make money. That's not the only economic activity on the game. We obviously have crates, and you open up in-game assets that way through buying crates. That happens there as well. We've obviously got exchanges where people can buy and sell what they call in-game currency. That's the currency you're going to need to play the game. You're going to be able to earn in the game and things like that. And you can convert that to Mafia, and in the future, you'll be able to convert it to bullets and arts, probably, things like that. So it's going to be pretty crazy. You can obviously convert over the in-game assets as well. So there's a bit of features to that in particular. We're going to talk about that in a minute. There's OTC there, over-the-counter trades. You can do one-to-one there. And, of course, you can buy keys as well to open up land tiles and buy in-game, open up crates and things like that. So it's pretty cool. There's also a secondary market where people can buy and sell all sorts of in-game assets, including land tiles, which is pretty cool. And, of course, there's the map where people can buy, land tiles straight out off the game. There's the primary market, and you can go and visit those and open up land tiles there. So that's a kind of a quick further overview. Pretty exciting there. Now, the second thing, so that's the vault. The next one I wanted to talk about was exchange tiles. So let's go to Pulse Mafia this time, and we're going to click on exchange, one of the menus there, and we're going to look at convert. So convert used to be you could get in-game assets, and you could convert all sorts of things into in-game cash, and so a lot of people were doing that. We've probably got a lot of in-game items that have disappeared. Now, where do people get those in-game items from? Well, they bought keys here, which are $20 each, and they used them to open up and win some of these prizes here, right? In-game assets, pretty much. So $20 a key. So a lot of money was spent on that. And so now people, what happened was the godfather who controls the game, that's Jacob, he turned that off. But now you can convert tiles now. So they've got tiles in the end now, and you can convert that. Now, the in-game cash for tiles is very, very low. So I don't suspect a lot of people are going to be doing that at the moment. But that's one of the new features that's opened up, exchanging tiles. So if you've got land tiles, for example, if you've got any of the land tiles on the map, let's quickly have a look at the map. We're going to go to, let's go to the Mugnaus Reloaded in Palamo there. Always nice to pick on a family less talk about. And let's have a look at this one, the Mugnaus. So let's have a look at this map. So this is one of the game maps. And of course, the Mugnaus are dominating at the moment on this map. And of course, each of these land tiles here, you can zoom in here. That's a land tile there with a little shed on it. Each of these can be sold now on that exchange that we talked about. So if you have those in your wallet, if you've purchased those either through the primary market is just buying one in the map here, or secondary market is buying one that's already been opened up in the primary market, but you're going to buy on the marketplace here, which is the secondary market, and you'll be able to find land tiles in here, no doubt. Here's one here in Messina. You can click on that, and you could actually buy that. But you can see these land tiles are being offered for about 20, 30 bucks at the moment, some of these ones. Now, they all depend on how much development's on those. And then, of course, you got the exchange, which allows you to convert land tiles as well into in-game cash, but it's only like $3 or something, or $2 or something like that. So a lot of people are not going to be doing that for sure. And let's see what happens in the future, though. I've got a few more people in the chats that say hello to them. So those are land tiles. Those are exchange tiles or land tiles in the exchange. That's a new thing that's just come out. Who else we got jump here? We got Craig Pitt in the house. Good morning, all. Good to see Craig. We got Wookie as well. Wookie, the remover of limbs in the house. Yeah, he's a feared leader, capo of our killer squad, or at least one of our kill squads in the Directorate. and people are going to be introduced to him in the game sometime. We got Mr. Scotty. Let's go. Hey, Mr. Scotty, welcome. Who else there? Archie, the Don of Dons, of course, of the Directorate, runs all the. I think we've got 5 families, 6 families even. So big shout out to Archie. Hi all. Good to see Archie in the house, doing an amazing job. Crypto Fuhrer, see you mobsters and mafiosos. Good to see you, Crypto Fuhrer. Fuhrer is one of our top members in our family. Big shout out to you. Directorate Familia, absolutely. Xenon says hi, another member there. Big shout out to you, Xenon. All right, so that is the next updates. The next one I want to talk about is the stages of the game launch. Yeah, we're jumping over to that. So let's quickly look at that. So at the moment, you've got the Wikipedia here. Remember, you can get to the Wikipedia by clicking on the More button, going down to the game wiki. And I do strongly suggest that you study that up. And if you want to be really super geeky, get into mafia-hq.com. I'll post a link to that in the chat as well. And this is made, obviously, by our Archie, the Don of Dons. So that is the link there to Mafia-HQ. That's an additional resource there with lots of insights around strategy and stuff like that. So a bit of an interpretation of some of the rules there in the Wikipedia. So, but let's get to the launch phase. So we've got these launch phases of the game. We're in pre-launch phases. So the game itself hasn't actually launched in its full sense, but it is kind of got stages that are launching one after another. So we start off with the token mint and airdrop. We had the profile creation, which I went through at the beginning of the video. Family creation, which you can do if you want to set up a family. OG crates. You can, obviously, we talked about opening those up with keys. Marketplace is the secondary market people trade on after they've opened things up from the primary market, either opening up crates or land tiles on the maps. The exchange, we talked about that. That's had a few changes, of course, and primarily at the moment, people can trade tiles, although the economics is not very good for that at the moment. Map update. Obviously, the maps all came out. We've had a huge land grab. That video at the beginning of the show showed you just some of the excitement and hype for the map update. On Pulse Chain, it's virtually sold out. There's only one map left with primary tiles left on them. On BNB, there's still tons of tiles. So if you go to the Mafia game, you can see on Pulse Chain, there's 210 tiles available, but they're only available on one map. So if we go quickly look at that, you can see the only map left with to get primary tiles on is the Messina map here, which the Yakuza part of the Directorate is still dominating at the moment. So that's pretty interesting. The other family, of course, on BNB is that there's tons of properties over on BNB, right? So you can go get those. So 4,363 still available in the primary market, which you get through the map, right? And the map, you can see that only two countries, let me rephrase, 2 cities have been sold out, Las Vegas and Chicago, there by the elite OGs in the syndicate, which is part of the Directorate. We've obviously got almost the Black Thistles have almost dominated the Bogota city, but the rest of them, Medellin and all the others down below here, all the way down to Detroit, still got most of the tiles left, right? The Mugnaus in Napoli making a bit of an inway here with 310 tiles left, but generally a lot of tiles left, which means there's a lot of opportunity there for people to pick up, particularly the chance to get developed tiles where you've got a building on it as well. And so you could win a building straight out of the gate, which is pretty good if you do that, especially with the price of in-game cash, which is pretty neat. So that's kind of an overview of that. But let's get to the next one here, the Mafia marketing DAO. So I'll just leave one more comment on Mafia map. It's been extremely successful, the sellout, particularly on Pulse Chain. And there's lots of opportunity still on BNB there, as you can see. Marketing DAO. Now, this has kind of been a quiet launch, but this is very, very exciting. And this is where part of the money that gets, from fees and, taxes on buying and selling things like that ends up going into the marketing DAO, which helps with sustainability and promoting the game long term, which is a fantastic move there. Now, there's lots of little things sitting behind this. New marketing leader for this. There's going to be a whole ton of consolidation on X and social media platforms. Lots of marketing proposals the community can vote on with the DAO. So there's going to be lots of growth here that people are going to notice very quickly in the next month or two. So this is very bullish for the game. So Marketing DAO, a transparent and community-involved marketing voting platform for Mafia. Vote on what kinds of marketing efforts you would like to see happen. Vote with your Mafia token. So you will need Mafia tokens. And remember, there's only 1 billion Mafia tokens, and a lot of that is already staked and a lot of it needs to be staked inside developments inside the maps. So the Mafia, all things equal, not financial advice, but it's probably going to get pretty scarce. And now we've got another use case for Mafia, the marketing DAO, where people want to be able to vote on which proposal they think is the best for expanding the reach of the game. Having a direct impact on marketing efforts and results, game admins will create rounds with 4 options to select from. One of the options will always be to save the funds for the next round. 2% of all protocol revenue will automatically be deposited to the marketing wallet. So this is how it's getting fed, at least initially. It was 2% of all the revenue, which is a pretty cool move there. Some might argue you could move to 10%, but I think 2% is a good practical start there, and I like where that's heading. All marketing efforts comes with the base cost and admin fee. There's usually to cover time expenses to produce marketing content before you submit it to the paid service for exposure. I think we're going to get some pretty good visuals coming out of the marketing, so that's going to be pretty exciting as well. This fee also covers the research and time needed to produce options for each round. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Let's quickly look at how big that marketing DAO is at the moment, just kicking off, because I think it's probably going to expand pretty big here. So at the moment, started off pretty modest, about $1,600 in there, 31.8 million pulse, and we're probably going to see those voting rounds on this page soon enough. So that's on Pulse Chain. I suspect this is going to be boosted in the future, so stay tuned for that. And our BNB, let's have a quick look at that marketing DAO. It's got $600 in at the moment, 0.86 BNB, and we'll probably get those voting options, those 4 voting options sooner than later. I think there's some announcements to be made around the marketing DAO, so stay tuned for that. There are certainly things happening in the background that I'm not talking about at the moment, so kind of cool. Things are heading nicely there. So that's just early days on that, and I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about the marketing DAO and things like that. You're certainly going to notice, I think, quite a big step change in the marketing and promotion, and it's going to be a lot more efficient and effective as well. So feel confident about that. Now, the next one is exciting update. This is the one that we're about to have anytime now, open for business. I'm extremely excited about this stage, and this stage is what I wanted to talk about now. Open for business. This is pretty cool. So if you were lucky enough to open up a crate with a key that had a business in it, you'd be very happy indeed, right? So let's quickly go to a map here. Let's have a look for a city with that. So perhaps we'll go to one of the gearheads ones here in Las Vegas. Let's visit this one, have a quick look at this, and have a look at the businesses here. Let me just go. Now, the cool thing about these maps is that you do have a bit of a filter. So we'll zoom out a little bit here in the map, and we can actually look for the business objects, right? So we can look at different types of buildings, but we want to look at the business objects. It will highlight them for us, right? So we've got them all highlighted in pink. So each map will have a businesses there, and so that's pretty cool. I think there are 11 per map, and there's 11 maps, I think that's right. So 111 businesses in total. Now, each of them are different. We've got this one here is narcotics warehouse. So you can zoom around here. Let's have a look at this one up here. My mouse is particularly sensitive, so be careful there. So this one here is a car crusher. So each of them looks quite different. Also, I think let's have a look at this one here. This is the narcotics warehouse. So you've got different ones here. I'm sure we've got some more over here as well. What's this one here? This is a hospital. So different ones at the moment, and I think we've got another one down here, don't we? We've got the booze warehouse. The booze warehouse looks pretty badass, doesn't it, actually? It's got a lot of detail in there. Look at that. Pretty neat. That's the booze warehouse. Lots of detail on that thing. That is pretty cool. What is this one here? This is detective agency. This one, and that was a detective agency. Let me just jump over here. Like I said, my mouse is pretty sensitive. Let's have a look here. That is the bullet factory. And here is so this is Las Vegas, right? So the city, it's got the famous Las Vegas Strip in it. You can see there's lots of developments going on here by the gearheads. And of course, we've got our famous little Wookiee the Blade. He's one of our top assassins, a capo, and he's just sitting in amongst there, ruining the lineup of the old gearheads there. So it's a very trolling position, that one. Anyway, this one here is also owned by the Yakuza, which is part of the Directorate. So the Directorate there's got a few thorns in its side there for the old gearhead sitting in the Las Vegas Strip. But there's the roulette. Now the roulette, I want to keep focus on that because this is going to be opening up first. So let's go to this one. We can see that if you're a business owner, keep an eye out for the launch phase. Now this is a big deal. There's really a major stage in the game. The release will be released in stages. This phase in stages. The first stage is going to be gambling businesses, right? So we're going to have roulette goes live first, finalizing development. So roulette is technically the second highest worth in the game, but it's going to be opening up first. So people are going to go in there and gamble. Going to be pretty interesting to see that play out. So if you're owning a business, you might end up making quite a bit of money there. Once again, it's subject to your risk return. The other thing is slot machines are going live. It's in development at the moment. And then coming up, there's two new ones, right? These are two brand new businesses. And I'm going to talk about them in a minute. I just want to skip past them quickly. We got then the next businesses that are out is the bank goes live in phase 2. The gun store goes live, and I think this is going to be really interesting to see the guns. Presumably, when the gun store goes live, that means that the crates, we should see a lot of these in-game assets disappear from the crates. So you won't be able to open up there. You'll go have to buy them from the gun store, presumably. The hospital opens up, and the bullet factory. Obviously, that's going to be pretty popular as well. That is actually the highest ranked worth game, but interesting that's opening up in stage 2 of this phase. Then we got coming up stage 3, game-dependent businesses will open up. Narcotics warehouse, booze warehouse, and car crashes. Now, we know that narcotics and booze, there's going to be a lot of money to be made through doing that in the Mafia game. So a lot of players will be looking forward to that, as well as the business owners. So that is going to be pretty neat. So that's kind of it. So your roulette goes live first. Wow. So if you're owning a roulette, that is big news for you, right? Big news. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that is coming up for that. Now, I wanted to talk about the two new businesses, right? Two new businesses, Lottery Hall Live and planning, and Jackpot Hall Live. So what's that going to mean? That means that people are going to want to get some keys because these are probably going to show up down here in the in-game assets, right, as new businesses. And these are very powerful businesses. These are different from all the rest, the Lottery Hall and the Jackpot. So let's go have a look and see how different they are. They're very different indeed. So it's going to be fun to see them. They're going to be often sought after here. So we come to in-game assets. We've got all these businesses ranked down here. So let's go quickly look at the roulette, because we just talked about that's going to be the first business open for business. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to have a roulette table. It's going to have a 00 American table with an RTP of 94.7%. So that is what's going to happen. And you can only use in-game cash for the roulette. Pretty awesome. How to break the house. The liquidity of the roulette table is equal to the owner's pocket cash amount. Any user who makes a bet an owner cannot pay will automatically get transferred ownership of the roulette table as compensation for the missing payout. Presumably, there's some risk management there for the owner. Otherwise, it'd be too easy, right? So that may be a very difficult thing to do. So we're going to see how that setup is. Can I keep a table if I win? Yes, that's a big question. You might find yourself threatened or returned. So even if you take a table, maybe you're taking it off somebody very powerful. So maybe the best thing is to return it, although some greedy people will probably try and sell it or something. But if you are looking to play the game, maybe that's a risky proposition. Maybe you have to switch your profile. So there's going to be all sorts of things there. How to manage risk. The owner of the table, you are able to find a max bet. Presumably that's going to be used quite well by owners. The table will have a range in which the owner can decide their risk tolerance, which is a good way to go. The higher the max bet, the higher the estimated profits, but be careful because having a large stack of cash in hand can be dangerous. So that is the roulette. So we know that's coming out first. But now I want to talk about the two new businesses. Lottery Hall. Lottery Hall is coming. And this is very different from the rest of these businesses. Those other businesses are all city bound, right? There's one per city, 11 cities and one per city there. So it's pretty cool to own a roulette or a slot machine, hospital, car crasher in any of those cities. But these lottery halls and jackpot halls are actually, if you own them in all the cities. And of course, recently we've seen the Godfather there try to get 2 more pieces of land tiles in each city so that he can put these new businesses on them, right? So we've seen that in the market, particularly on B&B. They think they're still there on exchange. So let's go to the OTC exchange there. No, they've all gone. So it looks like they've all gone. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know whether any were taken by force from the Godfather, but it looks like they've all exchanged in any case. I had a feeling that one of them or 2 of them had been taken by force, but it does look like they have traded on the market there. Interesting. All right, so that is kind of the play there. Let's have a look at the lottery hall. There are 2 significant differences to a lottery hall versus the other business. This business item will be added to the item crates soon. So there we go. I said it was going to get added to the item crates. So it will be down here. You'll be able to buy a key, and people will be trying to win these businesses because they're going to be, you win them on all the maps, all 11 maps. So very, very powerful business. The owner of this business owns it in all cities. It's a protocol-wide ownership, extremely lucrative there. That is the carrot. That's the carrot. So it's going to be pretty awesome. This business item has no risk to the owner. There's no risk to the owner. It's another thing there. It's a high return, no risk. You can't ask for better, right? It's a player versus player service where the owner gets a guaranteed fee. Can you believe it? So it's player versus player. This item can only be lost through killing or transfer. So you have to kill the player if you want it, or the player transfers it out, basically sells it or something. The owner can run away with the entire lottery purse at any time if they see fit, but that might be dangerous. Think twice for doing that, because if you steal of players playing the game in your business, they might come and kill you, right, and take it. So there is a balance here at the lottery hall. The owner can run away. So there we go. Game specifics. Lottery draws every 72 hours. So it's a 3-day game. Protocol mints initial deposits. Prize distribution: first place gets all the cash spent to purchase the ticket. Second place gets bullets, which is from protocol inflation. And the third place gets a card from protocol inflation as well. As a twist, the protocol always owns 15 to 20% of the tickets, meaning the lottery purse can roll over and grow extremely large, which I think is a cool little feature there, as long as you've got, ongoing demand, which I think we will have. So that's kind of cool. Now, the next one is Jackpot Hall. This is also pretty similar to the lottery. These are the two new businesses, and of course, a very high revenue expectation at no risk. These are going to be in high demand there. There are two significant differences to Jackpot Hall versus other business. They got the same thing, right? Business, if you own it in all cities, and it will be extremely lucrative there. So pretty exciting. The business item has no risk to the owner. Same thing again. This is the only gambling business that will take in other assets as betting value than cash. So instead of just taking cash, these are going to take virtually everything: cash, NFTs, Mafia, bullets, health, cars, and so on. So this is a very cool game because it accepts a lot of different things within the game. So I think that's going to be pretty sought after as well. So we're going to have another bonanza round of keys going into this game. It's more cash going into the game for people trying to win these jackpots. So who knows who's going to win them? Good luck to you if you're going to try and pick up one of those. Now we've got some more comments in the chat. So let's see who else. Pulse Nation in the house there. Big things coming. Get your bags while it's still cheap. Always do your research. This Pulse Nation, absolutely. Wookie in the house there. Woo! Good to see you, Wookie. Xanon says Mr. 1 to 5 will win. Says Xanon. People will cry. Jacob sad face says Xanon there. I'm not sure where that's setting, but the people probably will cry. People will cry. It's a Mafia game after all. So that is some of the cool stuff. Those are the two new businesses. That's some of the highlight news. Now we're going to move on to in-game cash price. You guys ready? In-game cash price, because we've seen some really crazy stuff overnight and the last couple of days. So obviously, if you're going to buy in-game cash, it is getting pretty scarce, especially since the exchange turned it off for selling in-game assets. So you can buy it with Fresh Capital, Pulse, or all sorts of other top popular ones in the system. You can see all the different tokens that are popular on Pulse Chain. You can buy them here on Pulse Mafia, and you can buy the cash, right? So I guess if you put $100 worth of, let's pull $1,000 worth of Pulse, there's 20 million Pulse. That would get you 19.6 million in in-game cash at the moment. So price has definitely gone up. How do we know the price? Well, we go to the withdrawal, which is basically the sellers. That is people selling in-game cash, and we can see a chart and everything else. So the chart is based on the ratio that's being sold for in-game cash to Mafia, and also the price of Mafia, right? So that's kind of the play, and of course Mafia there relative to Pulse as well. So that is, we've seen a bit of a boom in the old in-game cash price here since the 19th of January. So boom, 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 alone. And the ratio has been pretty awesome. We've seen pretty good up around 40 or lower, which is pretty cool. So lower the ratio, the more in-game currency is worth versus the Mafia token. And we can see people are selling it here at the moment around about 40. That seems to be the mark there. But if you're going to buy, with the deposit button, you need to check the withdrawal, right? You need to check this because you need to know what is the tranches that you're buying through, right? What's your average price going to be? Because you're going to buy through this. So if you're going to buy 10 million, you're going to eat up all the stuff that's right here, but your price will probably go get a bit more expensive as you go through, right? Because you're going through these different tranches here on the sell side. Just remember that. It's always wise to check that. So that is the play at the moment. So where will the ratio go? Will it be 1 to 1? Will it be 100 to 1? So you can decide. It may have ups and downs depending on the supply and demand. Going up to the game, how many players we've got, etc. There's lots of variables there, and lots of the tokenomics in the game. So it's going pretty crazy. So far, price is pretty strong in my view, and you can see that in the chart. Now, this is also on the B&B side, and B&B's even been more dramatic. So remember, there is pretty much most of the maps are sold out on PulseChain, and we've got a lot of players. So if we look at the player numbers, we've got 1,100 players over here. Now, people can set up multiple players, so just remember that. We've got 27 crime families there at the moment, but most of the tiles have gone, whereas on B&B, we look over there, we can see that we've got 1,000 players, so about 100 less. We've got 22 crown families, about 3 less there, and we've still got tons of tiles here. What's that? About 15x more tiles on over here. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So relatively less players in activation, less money being spent compared to PulseChain. But what that's meant for the exchange is that the money has had a big rally. So let's go have a look at the exchange. Once again, let's put in that $1,000 that we had on PulseChain. How much is that going to get over here? So I think we were going to get quite a bit. Was it 19 million something? Let me just quickly go check over here for the exchange. Put that in again. I've forgotten how much it was, but yeah, 19.6 million. So I got that number right. But over here on B&B, $1,000 is going to get you 6.3 million in-game cash. So in-game cash a lot more expensive over here on the B&B. Remember, there's only really 2 or 3 families dominating over here at the moment. In-game cash is very hard to get hold of. So we've got some really interesting tokenomic differentials going over on the B&B. Pretty crazy, right? So let's have a look at the withdrawal and see what's going on there, right? So on Pulse Mafia, if we look at the withdrawal, we can actually see the total amount spent in the last 24 hours was $800, right? Sometimes that's $5,000. Sometimes it's down 800 here. But on B&B, we had quite a big buy coming in overnight. $745 is now the volume there. That's normally a bit lower than that, maybe half that amount. So that is pretty good, $745. And you can see the sell tranche at the moment with the sell. So the ratio is 3.7. Yeah, you want to fall off your seat. That's pretty dramatic. 3.7 for the sell side, and there's not much for sale. In fact, you get through like 5 million in sale, and automatically you're down to 1-to-1. People are trying to sell in-game currency 1-to-1 to Mafia over on B&B. So very different market. You can see the price rally there. Huge spikes. Very difficult to get in-game cash over here. Now, what do you need in-game cash for? Well, you need, if you go to the maps, you need it to develop your buildings, right? And you need you need in-game cash to develop your buildings. So if you're buying, that's why you need in-game currency. If you've already built your building and you want to activate it, you need Mafia, right? So you got to sell your in-game currency for Mafia, but there's not a lot around, nevertheless, regardless. So it is pretty interesting over here on the old PulseChain, right? Sorry, B&B, I should say. So yeah, pretty crazy. So let's go to the elites here on the OGs and have a quick look at some of their developments, right? So you need in-game currency to develop your buildings, to get bigger buildings, but you need Mafia to activate those buildings once you've developed them, right? So that particularly once you've turned them into offices, right? So very important there. So let's have a quick look at some of the buildings. We can see there's quite a bit of development here with the OGs. We've got lots of hotels, right? Very hotel intensive. This is their headquarters here, over here, and then they've got all these hotels next to them. So they're obviously going for in-game cash. So they'll be turning over a lot of in-game cash with all those hotels. And you can see this one here is actually active. It's got a little green button at the top there, active. And that's because they've staked Mafia in here, right? You have to stake, get it. Remember, there's only 1 billion Mafia tokens. You have to stake 500,000 tokens in a hotel. So if you think about it, this one here is owned by Lucky. This one's owned by Lucky, I think, and Lucky again, Lucky as well. So Lucky is the Don, and of course that means that you've got to stake 2.5 million in here, just these 5 hotels alone. So that's where you're getting a bit of supply sink in the game, right? You also, people have got Mafia staked in the families as well, earning in-game cash there too. So big supply sinks going on in the Mafia game. So it's going to be pretty fun. You only need a little bit of growth in the number of players, and the Mafia price really can start running away. This is Las Vegas on B&B. Now, we saw on PulseChain it was controlled by the gearheads. Over here, it's controlled by the elite OGs, and they're also building out their strip as well. Now, do they own the slot machine? They do own their slot machine, unlike over on PulseChain, and they do also own the roulette. So they actually pretty much dominate a lot more over here, relatively speaking, compared to the gearheads on PulseChain, but only by a bit there with those businesses really. So pretty interesting there, and of course you need, if you're going to develop these buildings, you're going to upgrade them, you need to have in-game cash. If you're going to activate them and make them active so that you actually earn that yield that's on them, and also the defensive points, which is probably more important once you're playing the game. Remember, the defensive points for a hotel is 100 points, so it's a lot there on the defense. And so if you've got a player hiding in a hotel, you're going to have good defensive strong points there. And you're also going to earn this in-game currency, which is pretty scarce at the moment. So some pretty crazy stuff. So here over on BNB, we got 40 ratio to 1, but on Pulse Chain, but on BNB, we've got a ratio of almost, it's 3 to 1, almost 1 to 1. So very different world indeed happening over on these games. Great to see. All right, and we may get some convergence over time. It's going to be pretty fun to see that play out as well. So that's in-game cash price. I thought we'd cover that. It's having a lot of crazy stuff going on Pulse Chain and BNB. Now let's go to the families and the Directorate. The big news today, of course, is the Don of Dons, Archie Capone. He is doing an incredible job with the most powerful and most feared family in the game. Truly the only one of declaring a war amongst the families for sure. And a very dangerous player is Archie, the Don of Dons. We call him the genius, Mr. Evil there, and he's in the chat there. Now, he has made a huge milestone here, because if we go to the players and families, we can see the rankings on Pulse Mafia. We got the Gearheads there, led by Don Giffordware at number 1 with 840,000 worth. We got the Yakuza with 750. Obviously, the Directorate there, as you guys know, I'm a part of that family leadership as the Consigliere. And of course, the Don there is Don Archie. And that has now today, just today, a few hours ago, become the second big family in the Directorate to take the number 1 vault payout spot at the moment. So you need to get enough connected tiles next to HQ to do this. And the Yakuza there at the moment is number 1. Now, just the other day, the Directorate also got the Hustler family, another one of the families in the Directorate Alliance, and that was the first family that qualified for a vault spot, sitting at number 3 at the moment with 20% of the payout. So the Yakuza's got 30% of the payout, and the 20% there from the Hustlers. Now, that's pretty exciting. Now, the Salamancas are sitting here at number 2. They have the second spot with 25% of the payout vault at the moment. Now, we know things will change over time, but these are current standings at the moment. And this family's first initial thing, just to get themselves in the vault position, is a huge milestone. And then holding on to that and growing positions is the next step, right? So we've also got other families that in the Directorate there. The Syndicate, sitting at number 6, is also on the move there. And of course, we know that number 6, 7, and 8 technically could be the conditional vaults. At the moment, those are spread out amongst smaller families. People are trying to play a lot of different games with different families out there, and we'll see where it all lands in the future. But so far, the Directorate are making some powerful moves as well. So that's kind of where we are on Pulse Chain. On BNB, if we go to the families as well, we can see that the family position there at the moment, the Elite OGs. So the Syndicate is number 1, 297,000 worth, followed by the Elites at 291,000. But the Elites are the only ones at the moment with a player vault. They only have 14 players, and they have Family Plus, so it makes it pretty easy to get their position. But keep a lookout over here as well. So we also got number 3, the Mugnows, and the Black Thistles number 4. And then finally, the Directorate there got another family, the Yakuzas, sitting there at number 5. So keep a lookout for these numbers here. At the moment, obviously, some of the vault lockdowns are with smaller families, but they're unlikely to hold on to those, right? So keep a lookout over here on BNB as well. Lots of things are happening. So that is the families. That is the positioning at the moment. A few moves there by the Directorate, the most powerful and feared family out there. And now we're going to talk about, obviously, a bit more about the marketing down roadmap. I briefly talked about it before. But we're probably going to see a lot of changes happening with the marketing down because we're going to see some simplifications. At the moment, we've got BNB Mafia on X. We've got Pulse Mafia on X. They haven't had a lot of communications on there. A lot of communication is done on Telegram with the Pulse Chain and Pulse Mafia official channels. Obviously, families like the Directorate have their own Telegram families over there and their own X positions. But what we're probably going to see is a director of marketing, as well as I'm not sure if that's been officially announced. You can let me know out there if you know if that's been officially announced. But there will be Director of Marketing, and of course, we're going to see a simplification on X, and X has been underused, so we're going to see that consolidated into one place, and we're going to see some massive promotion out there with some great marketing materials coming out. So I'm very excited about that. So apparently it's official, so I'm going to talk about it. We have the Directorate, of course, the Don of Dons, Archie. It's official, and that is that Archie will be Director of Marketing for Mafia, in a neutral position, of course. Mafia, he's very professional. So he's going to be doing some major promotions here. You're going to see some pretty cool things come out of that, in addition to the marketing DAO. And of course, if you've seen that video at the beginning of the show, was from Archie, and of course he goes next level every time he comes out with something new. He goes next thing big. So very exciting where this is all going to be heading. Moondog there says congratulations to Archie. Yeah, definitely. And he's already proven to do some incredible marketing materials for the whole Mafia game. And this is the thing about the Directorate. You know, the Directorate is not just thinking about its own success. Obviously, we're purely focused on the success of the Directorate, and we have our own goals in the game, and things like that, the own domination that we want to do, led by our genius Archipelago, and of course, big shout out to our Capitacina, Max Payne, who does an incredible job out there on multiple fronts, and our whole family is just full of superstars. So a big shout out to all the superstars in the Directorate families, the Yakuza, the Hustlers. You know who you are, so it's pretty awesome out there. The Syndicate, you know, we're in the game, so it's going to be a lot of fun out there. Now we've got a few comments there. We've got big shout out to the family and Max Payne for helping to drive our connectors. Absolutely, big shout out for that. Big shout out there to Moondog from the Archie Don. Big shout out there, and DGN as well. Hey, Superman, lots of love. I appreciate that. DGN says the high table in the house as well. Yeah, let's not forget the high table. That is awesome as well. Now, we've obviously got families in the house there. Now, the high table here, sitting here with no Directorate, that is a Directorate family, and that is also sitting at number 5 spot here on Pulse Mafia at the moment. So keep a lookout for that family as well. There are some wild cards in this game. This game is not always what it seems. Let's just put that out there. So things that you might see may not always be the case, and things can change pretty quickly. So look out for that. All right, so this is where we are with the marketing DAO. Expect some big things coming in this direction. Big shout out to Archie, who's going to be leading that. I think it's going to be a very big impact for the game, take it to the next level, and we're going to get more players and more excitement coming. Now, that's pretty exciting. Now, we talked about the game, those new games, Lottery Hall and Jackpot. I think they're going to be very popular indeed. Imagine owning a business over all the maps. Unbelievable, with no risk. Oh, my God, OMG. Those are pretty valuable. We're going to see how they play out. But, man, I think people are going to be trying to open those up in the crates. Let's have a look at the next stage. So the next stage for Open for Business, which is what we're looking for, is very exciting. So I think the game's moving a little faster than some people had thought, and I had thought as well, because we've had mixed news on certain things. But it's certainly starting to pick up a pace now. Pretty liking the pace that we're going at the moment. Then we're going to come up to pre-ranking. That's coming up there as well. So if you've got some players, maybe you got a Frank 7 out there, you want a Frank 10. This possibly could be like that, or it could be around bodyguards and things like that, or it could be around your own ranking, right? Which is probably the case, ranking up through the game, right? And of course, everybody at the moment is a pleb, right? It's a pleb, a nobody, as they say, but you'll be able to rank up there. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but let's see where we got there. We've got some stuff around rankings. It's been a while since I looked at this particular point, but let's back up here. Honor points. We've got honor points. I'm looking forward to honor points too. I think that's going to be pretty awesome in the game, so let's not forget about that. Let's see here. Your status. This is the one. Your status, current ranking progress. We've got city developers tiles. Yeah, talked all about that. Joining family, family hierarchy. Obviously, people are going to be able to go up through the ranks there. Promotion money, obviously, as you go up through the game. So people here, so this is a ranking. You got thieves here all the way through to Capo Bastoni. So presumably these will all be pretty similar by the time we get there. Associate, the soldiers, the mobsters, the higher that you go in the game. In other words, the more crime you do, the more successful you are in the game, the better you're going to do in this game. that's the way overall Jacob wants to play the game. So if you're worried about the big whales in the game, no. If you go in and you play well, you got a decent kit, you got some guns and bullets and you got some stuff, and you play the game smart, you do lots of crimes, and you're well organized, you can do pretty well, even as a lone wolf. So we're going to see a lot of successful lone wolf players, but of course, you do get a lot of benefits by being in a Mafia family. If you want to do revenge, for example, it's always better to have 5 or 6 mates to come with you, right? 5 or 6 mates to come with you rather than you trying to get revenge yourself. So there are some definitely benefits in the Mafia families. So that's kind of the play. You've got Hitman and Assassins. We like that sort of stuff. So pretty cool. What else there? We've got a Bruglione. That's been changed. So these have been changed, actually. Bruglione and Capone Bastone. That makes a lot of sense to change those. Local Chief and Chief. People are going to be after the honor of these titles as well. Kind of cool. So we'll see what that's like with the pre-ranking. Raid spots, obviously going to be pretty important in the game. Very strategic. There are raid spot tiles in the game, on the maps. So it's going to be pretty important there. Communication, of course, going to be big in the game. If you want to communicate with your kill squad or with your crime syndicate or whatever you're going to be doing, that's going to be pretty important as well. Maybe you just want to have a casual chat. That's going to be pretty neat there. And then, of course, the vault requirements. Pulse chain's been met already, 5 billion pulse. We're well above that, right? Over 7. And then the BNB get to 500, which we're climbing towards that. We're almost halfway on the BNB one. And finally, the big one, the official launch. Looking forward to that, right? That's going to be absolutely epic, the official launch of Mafia. Now, 2 other things that we're expecting to come up to is the bullets, trading bullets. So at the moment, you can buy and sell Mafia. There's only 1 billion Mafia tokens. A lot of it's staked. But it's going to be bullets tradable soon and health tradable as well. I bet you a bottom dollar. A lot of these are being burned in for in-game cash through the exchange. But that is no longer possible. But when bullets and health change, that means it's going to be more bullish for these prices, right? Because a lot of that probably been burned off there. As people want to build out their land developments, right? So stuff like that has gone on. Pretty exciting stuff going on here. I'm very excited for the ranks in the game. You rank up when you do perform crimes, steal a car, smuggle, things like that. So it's going to be pretty up there. General ranks, nobody. Errand boy, this is probably the rank up stage up here that we talked about, pre-ranking. Pickpocket, thief, associate, soldier, mobster, swindler, man-made hitman, assassin, local chief, Capo Bastoni, and the Godfather there as well. Now, if I remember rightly, you can only kill, you can only do stuff relative to your rank. So you can't go around just trying to kill a Don if you're sitting as an errand boy. That's not going to be happening, right? So you might be able, if you're an errand boy, you might be able to try and attack an associate, but you won't be able to attack a soldier or something like that, for example. So there's going to be a lot of stuff like that in the game. So you do need to play and rank up. If you want to start taking out some of the stars in the game. There will be some stars in the game, people that are dedicated to winning. So watch out for that. So that's pretty much it. And of course, there's lots of cool things about honor points, promotional money that you can get inside families. There's lots of ways to earn and build your position in the game, both in and outside of a family. So it's going to be fun to see that play out as well. Obviously, we've talked about multiple ways of earning in the game. You can earn multiple ways through opening crates, getting lucky there, using the exchange effectively, buying and selling in-game cash and Mafia, converting in-game items like tiles, doing OTC trades, going on the secondary market and opening, buying and selling all the assets on there. I've seen people do that very successfully in the game already for over many months. You obviously, if you open up a map and you get a cool development, that's some free money right there. So there's lots of ways to earn, and there'll be lots of more ways to earn in the future, particularly doing crimes and stuff like that. So, and of course, if you're in a family and you have a vault position, getting access to some of the vault money as well. So there's going to be cool ways to earning there. Very exciting indeed. We got Moondogs makes comment about Archie getting the marketing director's position there. Definitely well deserved. People actually around and actually building, get recognition for the efforts, only increase my confidence in the team. Cult DeFi was a great pick as well. Yeah, Cult DeFi doing a great job out there, getting some of the middle to larger influences on Pulse Chain, and of course focused also on BNB influence as well coming up. Did some good ones recently, didn't he? With the RH Max and a few others like that. So Crypto Coffee, I think, is coming up. Yeah, it's doing a pretty good job. There's the other guy as well. Just forgotten the guy from New York, but yeah, it's doing a great job out there. Someone might remember because I just forgotten who his name is. I don't normally forget, but it's forgotten right now. All right, so that is pretty cool. So that is Pulse Chain, Pulse Mafia. This game is ramping up and things are going really, really nice. Over $500,000 in the vault already, a 2x, and we're at $1 million. You know, 4, 6x, we're up in the multi-million-dollar game for the vault alone, let alone the rest of the tokenomics. Going to be fun to see this play out. The business is about to open. Extremely excited for that. Great next phase for sure. All right, so we're up to an hour here, or 56 minutes. So I'm going to leave it there. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's Mafia game updates and insights. Get into the Telegram. Get active on the Pulse Chain, the official ones, Pulse Chain and BNB. You can access those, of course, through the Mafia, Mafia site. And also, join a family if you want to. Obviously, we advocate for the Directorate, the most powerful and feared family in the game, and we plan on expanding that. So get in there, folks. Social links are in the families on the websites. Apart from that, enjoy the Mafia game. Get yourself well positioned. Get yourself some guns and bullets and hearts. You're probably gonna need that at the minimum, right? Maybe some bulletproof vests. Get yourself a good package and play hardcore once it gets going. Cheers, says Zenon. Watch out for them kangies, says Shannon there. That's true, kangaroos. Well, we're in New Zealand. I'm not in Australia, so we don't get. Well, we have a few wallabies on an island, but we don't have much else like that. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you on the next show, and I'll catch you then. I'll be in Discord and Telegram, of course. Bye for now. Should we play the video one more time? I think so. Let's do it. Just a little taster of the dream.